There are 6 major OMAD hurdles. This video is about those and how to jump these hurdles. Number 1, hunger, especially during the break-in. This is the first big hurdle, and it's the most obvious. Anytime someone goes from eating a lot to a little, your body is going to struggle a bit to adjust. This is completely normal. The break-in period can last anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks. Usually it's out of the way within 4 days, but this depends on how out of shape you are, what kind of health struggles you have. The healthier you are, the quicker the break-in will be, but it will usually be longer. The unhealthier you are, the longer your break-in will be, but it will be up front. I don't know why that's true, but it's true. But expecting hunger to not be there, like some people do, is like expecting a major corporation to fold when they don't have there hasn't been enough time to test and see if the market's going to change. And I've made this analogy in other videos. Your body is like a CEO. Your fat on you are like the workers. You have to lay people off. Your CEO has to lay people off. And you, the owner, have to convince the CEO that that's what you want. How do you do that? You speak the language of hunger. And the greedy CEO of your body says, well, I want to hold on to this fat. I want to hold on to my workers because the economy is going to get better again. But you say, no, less is coming in. We need to downsize our operation. How do you do that? You speak the language, the only language that concerning weight loss that your body understands. That's hunger. Break-in hunger is something that is, of course, going to be there. And it can be extremely intense and uncomfortable. But if you're not willing to go through it, then you're not worthy of your success. You're not worthy of ever making your goal. So keep that in mind. Number 2, second hurdle, plateaus, especially the first plateau. That's the really big one. They get smaller the more you get. There's usually about 2 to 3 for the average person. But your plateaus are as normal as getting up in the morning and seeing the sunlight. Because if your body's going to naturally resist any change you make because it's concerned with homeostasis, maintaining the status quo. If you can remember that, you will do well. If you are someone who does not have a plateau, then you're just a freak. You're just an anomaly. I've never heard of such a thing. And yet I get emails every day from people just shocked. They're saying, is it normal? It's been 2 weeks and it seems like I gained. I didn't lose. This always happens, folks. It happens because your body's adjusting. So it's going to try to put away as much as it can until you finally convince it that you are on the way down, and that's for keeps. It takes discipline. The first plateau is the biggest, followed by several more that are usually pretty small. After that, it's smooth sailing. Again, expect it. It's natural. Hurdle number 3, people's negativity, horribly discouraging comments, and fearful expressions about how you're doing. You're teaching your body to store fat. You are going to become anemic. You're going to become sick. You're going to waste away. You're going to lose all your muscle. You're all the same nonsense that we have refuted over and over and over, but still pops up. The best way to avoid this is simply to not be vocal about your journey. Somebody notices you're losing weight, which if you're losing a lot of weight, they definitely will. You say, I've been intermittent fasting, and then change the subject. Try not to dwell on it. Just say thanks when you get a compliment, and then go from there. Avoid at all costs the temptation to elaborate and talk about how you have a new you and a whole new outlook, because then people start expecting that other shoe to drop. They expect you to fail, and they sometimes encourage you to fail because they themselves are not successful. Got to watch for that. Hurdle number 4, people's enablement. People are enablers. Nobody cares. This is a reality check here. Nobody cares about your restricting your quantity and fasting except you. You are the only one living in your shoes, and even the closest person on earth to you, your spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend, it does not matter. They don't understand because they're not going through what you are going through. So that means they're going to come home with pizza, with burgers, with chicken, with that takeout Chinese, and 100 other things. They're going to have cakes. They're going to have pies. That's their journey. It's not yours. You have to remember that. It does not matter what anyone else does or says, or how the fact that somebody else comes with delicious food that's only made once a year. You've still got to stay on the path. Otherwise, you've got nothing. And just like we said with the first 2 points, you're not worthy of your success if you're not willing to fight for it. Number 5, hurdle number 5, the maintenance transition. I get so many emails about the last 10 pounds, quote, last 10 pounds, and everybody has these fears as though maintenance is going to be just totally different from everything else. Of course, the reality is Maintenance is very simple. It's just an application of what you've already done. The same way you learn in first or second grade what you're going to use in third and fourth, and then eventually into high school and beyond. People still count on their fingers, and they still do simple math and basic arithmetic. That's something you learned when you were a kid, but you put it to work because it's just a part of the cycle. Once you know how to control yourself, once you know how to rely on beverages to deal with hunger, you can go the rest of your life just cycling on and cycling off. And if you go to the OMAD forums, you'll see I have 2 threads and a number of people that are following the bare maintenance plan. That's where you cycle on and off, and it's kind of a more fun way to think of transitioning into maintenance. But there's really nothing to do because it's just a realization of the fact that you can be more lenient with yourself because you've succeeded, and now all you have to do is maintain your success. It's pretty easy, despite all the senseless hype about, oh, it's so hard to keep off. No, it's really not. Hurdle number 6, image crisis or body image crisis. This is where you look at yourself in the mirror after you've made it to your goal weight and you've been maintaining, and you decide you don't like how you look. Take a number and get in line, as they say. This is extremely common, and it's common because the quest for self-improvement, I have said before, never ends. It doesn't end while you're alive because just as you age, your body will need upkeep. You will need nutrients. You will need to work out sometimes. You will need to walk at the very least. You will need to get sunlight, which I've recommended. You will need to you might need to supplement, depending on what your individual health conditions are. Regardless, you will face a moment at the end of your journey where you look in the mirror and you say, you know, I don't know if I like the way I look. That's completely normal because everything that you have put in the work to achieve is still going to be part of a long line of progress, of personal progress that you will have to keep making. So no, when you're done fasting, when you get to your weight goal, when you've kept it off for a while, you're still going to have challenges that involve you and your sense of self-worth. The best advice I can give is to not think about it and to just understand that you're going to keep making changes. A month from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. I've been maintaining my weight for 4 years now, just about. And I've been successful and I've had ups and downs, but I don't think about it because I know I've got it in the bag. I know I've won, and all I have to do is keep living, essentially. And if you think about it in terms of downplaying it rather than upplaying it, you won't be so afraid. You'll understand that just like anybody else, we are often uncomfortable in our own skin. And it's senseless, really, because living involves that. So what's the easy solution to beat all of these hurdles? Well, the obvious answer is to expect them. I'm giving it to you ahead of time. I'm hacking the system for you and saying, here's the way it's going to be. So if you're just starting on your OMAD journey, or you're at one of these points that I've mentioned here, just expect it. It's going to be a lot easier that way.